Matthew here from MiniWarGaming.com, bringing you another beat map bat rep.
We work so you can play. MiniWarGaming's beat map bat rep.
Today we are playing Planetstrike, which I'm pretty excited about, but it is going to be the most backwards Planetstrike game I think that is possible. And that is because we have John here with his Chaos Demons, and in the FAQ, the Chaos Demons still do not deploy. They just arrive on turn one, half their forces, and then everything else arrives as per the normal Planetstrike rules. Which means, me as the attacker getting the first turn, I'm going to arrive to a very unoccupied table. And then he's going to arrive and start assaulting, because anything that can deep strike can assault. So this should be very interesting. I'm very curious to see how this works out. So we've got Chaos Demons, and I brought my Tyranids. No Necrons yet, because at the time of filming this battle report, it is Monday, November 7th. I've only had 2 days. I've assembled 900 points, but not enough for a game yet. But we'll get lots of Necron battle reports in. Anyways, let's take a look at the board that John set up, because as a defender, he gets to set up the Planetstrike board. And let's also take a look at the armies. Let's start by looking at John's Chaos Demons. Now, he is the defending player in this Planetstrike mission, so he's able to bring up to 6 heavy support, up to 3 HQ, and up to 8 troops. And so he's decided to go all monstrous creatures. We've got 2 Bloodthirsters here, 2 Chaos Demon Princes of Tzeentch, I believe those are, so they have the extra initiative. We've got Fate Weaver, and, oh wait, those are the 2 Bloodthirsters. The other ones were Demon Prince of Khorne. And we've got 5 groups of Bloodletters, 2 groups of 6, and 3 groups of 5. So that is his 2,000 point army. Lots of heavy guys, everything deep striking, because he's demons. On my side, I am the attacking army. I decided to go with a theme of Planetstrike, which is everything deep strikes and lots of fast attack. Leading the charge is a Hive Tyrant with wings. I actually have him with a Lash Whip and Bone Sword, just to drop the initiative of his guys. We've got 2 Trigon Primes, both of them deep strike, so I thought it would be fitting. 2 groups of 3 Raveners with Rending Claws and Death Spitters. Now these are proxying in, these are Shrikes, so they actually have wings, and they have Scything Talons and Rending Claws and Toxin Sacs and Adrenal Glands. 3 Lictors, because, hey, I don't get to use Lictors very often. And 2 groups of 15 Gargoyles, all with Toxin Sacs and Adrenal Glands. I went all out with the Toxin Sacs and Adrenal Glands and everything, because I thought I would be charging. But for the most part, he'll be charging because his setup basically has him not starting on the board. This is how he decided to set up the board. 2 bastions in the middle, which means they're both objectives. We have 2 objectives in total, a little bit of terrain, and then an MWG there in the different little sandbags. So those things give 4+ cover saves. Anyway, he's not going to have anything on the board on my turn 1, because his guys deep strike in on his first turn. So, Tyranids Turn 1 is turned out a lot differently than I thought it would. I roll for reserves. I have Hive Commander on my Hive Tyrant, which means I only need to roll 2+, because you normally roll 3+ in the first turn in Planetstrike. And the Hive Tyrant, of course, gives a +1 to that. And if the Lictors get on, they'd give another +1. But that wouldn't be until after they were already on the board. So I just need a 2+. And as luck would have it, every single thing comes on, which I wasn't sure if it was a good thing, because I'd rather come on and charge him, because in Planetstrike, you get to charge in the first turn, or when you deep strike, if you already were able to deep strike. Now, he chose a stratagem that when somebody deep strikes in, the first one takes D6 strength 6 hits. The Hive Tyrant took those hits, but made all of his saves. After that, he rolls a 1 on anybody else deep striking, and he gets the same thing. But so far, he's failed to actually roll a 1 on any of them. So my guys are landing in. I decided to do my Trigons and Lictors last because they can't mishap. The Lictors are just placed, and the Trigons can't mishap. They just reduce the distance that they scatter so that they don't mishap. So they were the safest, so you might as well leave the space for everybody else to scatter around. Lucky for me, nobody mishapped, and I spread my guys out. And then in the shooting phase, everybody ran, and trying to deny him as much deep striking space as possible, so he has to kind of charge my Gargoyles instead of my more juicy targets, because pretty much everybody he has Furious Charge. So I want to prevent him from charging my better guys, and I want to be choosing the targets more often. So I'm keeping the Trigons a little safe, and I want to take out these 2 bastions right away as well. So it's kind of a, like I said at the beginning, a backwards Planetstrike game in the sense that the defenders aren't even there when I arrive, and these bastions are going down to these Trigons, because there's no way that a bastion can survive an assault from a Trigon Prime. So everybody's just spreading out here, just running. Not that I have to worry about blast markers, but it's more just for his deep striking. Even the Lictors are spreading out a bit. And the Hive Tyrant turns around getting ready for whatever's going to land. and the Raveners move as well. So nothing very exciting happening at this point. In the assault phase, the 2 Trigons charge the Bastions, 1 on each side. The first one, automatic 7 hits. Roll really low at first for the armor penetration. It's strength 7 because he has adrenal glands against the armor 14. I do manage to get 3 penetrating hits, and it wrecks, which is nice because it didn't explode and hurt my guys. The other one gets 7 rolls as well. That's a penetrating, nothing, a penetrating, nothing, a penetrating, and a penetrating, and nothing. So 4 penetrating hits, it explodes. Everything within 6 inches takes a strength 3 hit, so I replace it with the crater first off. And he manages to hit a few, or it manages to hit a few of my guys. Does not wound the Trigon. Up against the Shrikes, it manages to wound a couple, but they do save 1, so they take 1 wound off of the explosion. Hits 4 of the Gargoyles, managing to wound 3 of them, but I do save 1, so only 2 of them go down to that. And it also hits 1 of the Lictors, but fails to wound it. So really, not much happening there. Both Bastions go down, so he does not have the automated defenses. Now he has to split his army in 2 and roll to see which one comes in. So he rolls, and this side is coming in, so the 5 groups of Bloodletters, and then he still gets to roll for reserves. So the first one doesn't come in. Now I took the stratagem where I get to make him re-roll 6s on 1 turn that I choose, and I choose that at the beginning of the game, and I decided turn 1 because I figured it would be very important. So that's why he's re-rolling the 6s there. So far it hasn't made a difference because he only has to roll 3+ to come in, and that one comes in as well. And lastly, he rolls a 6, I force him to re-roll, and he actually fails that one, so it's kind of nice. It benefited me already. So the first Bloodletter comes in, and he scatters, but does not mishap. The other one takes a chance and makes a direct hit, landing right in the middle of the group of Tyranids, or the group of Gargoyles. The other one scatters back 12 inches. And then we have one of the Bloodthirsters, and he scatters back 10 inches, which is too bad because he won't be able to charge. He brings in the other one, and it mishaps. It lands within 1 inch of the Shrikes. And he mishaps and rolls a 2, and that means it's dead. So that's a loss already. He loses one of his Demon Princes. The other one scatters on top of the Hive Tyrant, but he rolls a 5, so it just goes back into reserves. The other one scatters backwards really far, so he's having really bad luck with his Deep Strike, and he's either mishapping or not going where he wants to. These Bloodletters, they mishap as well, and he rolls, so I get to place them. So I place them outside of charge range of my other guys, so that I can charge them in my turn. And this last group of Bloodletters mishaps as well, and it goes back into reserve. And then this other Demon Prince that he brings in, it mishaps. And he rolls, and it goes back into reserves as well. So he's pretty fortunate that it only went back into reserves for the most part, but he did lose a model, and also most of his guys are not able to charge this turn, so he really did not do well in his Deep Strike, and not that he had a choice there. So in the shooting phase, he's running his guys, trying to get them in position so that it's harder for me to charge them en masse. I have to pick them off one by one. And then he charges into my Gargoyles as well as into my Shrike Brood. And so he has Furious Charge, so that means his initiative is 5 in both cases, which means he gets to go first. I force him to reroll his 6s, which is nice. It actually made a big difference. He probably would have wounded 3 or 4 more Gargoyles there. I get to hit them back now. They have poison, and they also auto-wound on a 6 when they roll to hit. So those 2 6s are auto-wounds. And then they have poison, so they wound on 4s. So he actually loses 2 of his guys there. I do take 3 more wounds due to combat resolution, but I do survive that attack. Now he goes up against my Shrikes here. He has to re-roll his 6s, which actually did fail a couple of his rolls. And actually failed another wound too, so he only managed 3 wounds. He probably would have killed 4 or 5 wounds there if it wasn't for that. Then I hit back with my Toxin Sacs Shrikes, and they actually managed to kill 3 tying that combat. So end of round 1, we look at the board. The Bastions are dead. My guys have landed all in the middle of the board. His guys are scattered all around my guys. And this combat is tied, and the other one he managed to win, but is tied up with the Gargoyles, which means I'll get to start to pick my targets and charge in. I have nothing else to Deep Strike, so really I just have to look at what'll do best against which enemies. And I do have to worry about his Fate Weaver, which thankfully is not on the board yet. That would have made a big difference for round 1. So thanks for watching part 1. Now, if you're on YouTube, then you can click to play this little annotation thing right up here. If you're on MiniWarGaming.com, then below this will be the playlist, and you can just click on part 2 right there. And don't forget to subscribe, and if you like the Planetstrike Battle Reports, make sure you like this video, either with the Facebook like right above if you're on MiniWarGaming, or on YouTube, just go ahead and thumbs it up.